Holds back. With that, the gentlelady from Washington State, Ms. Jayapal, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very proud of my roots in India, my birth country, where my mother still lives after my father's passing earlier this year. And as the first and only Indian American woman in the United States Congress, I'm deeply invested in this strong U.S.-India bilateral relationship. Our relationship has been forged in shared democratic values, countering the influence of China, and strategic partnerships on everything from innovative technologies to pharmaceutical manufacturing. And I think a relationship that strengthens both of our countries while calling out areas of disagreement, if necessary, is very important. We've both our countries face enormous challenges today, including democratic backsliding, including discrimination, decreasing freedoms of press and religion, and increasing human rights abuses. We also are facing challenges around tariffs, both here in the United States and in India. These tariffs are damaging India's economy and also hurting American businesses and consumers. Just last week, I heard from a fifth-generation family-owned company in Washington State that relies on agricultural products from India that can't be sourced at scale in the United States. They told me that these tariffs are the greatest threat to their business in over 120 years, and they're looking at either downsizing or offshoring their production to meet increased costs. Meanwhile, this president has threatened people-to-people ties by shutting down legal pathways to immigrate, reminiscent of a legacy of discriminatory quotas that made it extremely difficult for Indians to immigrate in the first place. As the only member of Congress to have been on both a student visa and an H-1B visa, I deeply understand the harms of those policies and am committed to making sure that we continue to provide strong legal pathways for people to come to this country from India as well as around the world. I've also been concerned about and just met with this morning a coalition of groups that's been working on anti-Indian hate that has been rising in the United States, and I've been hearing about from my own constituents. I just want to make the point that Indian Americans are extremely important to our economy, an integral part of our society, running major Fortune 500 companies as well as startups and leading cutting-edge research to save lives. So I want to start with tariffs, and I'll come to you, Mr. Lalwani. In August, President Trump doubled tariffs on many Indian goods to 50%. How concerned is India over the fact that its neighbors, Pakistan and Bangladesh, have secured lower tariff rates than India, while India continues to actively negotiate? And how could the perception that the U.S. is no longer a reliable partner impact India's relationship with BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization?
Well, I think it is certainly a tremendous concern within India, certainly because of the costs of goods or the export potential is limited now. And in terms of the relationship with the SCO and the BRICS, I mean, I think it can push India closer to those countries. We saw some evidence of that, and the president took note of it, I think, in September.
Yeah, we could certainly have the opposite effect, I think, than perhaps what is being stated as the goal of those tariffs. Under the Trump administration, as I mentioned, we've also seen a wholesale attack on legal immigration and immigrants, in particular on student and H-1B visas. Mr. Lalwani, between the attacks on legal immigration and the anti-Indian rhetoric that's coming from individuals in the administration, what do you see as the effect on the U.S.-India relationship and the people-to ties that build our goodwill and connection?
I think I would worry a little bit about the deterrence of students, scientists, and Indian businesses, technologists that we have been counted on for our own technological prowess going forward if there's hostility towards them.
The last thing I want to talk about is just our the increasing instances of transnational repression. And just last week, I sent a letter to Secretary Rubio expressing concerns about Pakistan's use of transnational repression to stifle dissent. I do need to call it out in the case of India as well. In November of 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice unsealed an indictment alleging that an Indian national working with an Indian government official planned to assassinate Sikh American activist Gurpatwant Singh Panun in New York. was reportedly part of a broader plan involving multiple killings across the United States and Canada. And in addition, Indian intelligence has been linked to digital harassment and disinfo labs. This was an article that actually named me as one of the targets of that disinformation efforts. And so can you just briefly, I have 3 seconds, discuss how this repression hurts our bilateral relationship?
I think this is an area where I'm less informed and less of an expert in these subjects, unfortunately.
Do you have nothing to say on transnational
Oh,
repression?
I certainly worry about that as an American citizen as well. But I just think the cases that you're referring to are ones that the administration would probably have better expertise on that than myself.
Thank you, I yield back.
Gentlelady's time has expired.